Well, they got on a flight from Amsterdam into the United States, and they saw some very interesting things happen on the concourse, in the airport, into the plane, and on the plane. And, of course, he's a lawyer, a really good witness, trained to be able to document and be careful about what he says he saw. And the other witnesses are saying the exact same thing. Very, very bizarre. You have the sharp-dressed man leading the underwear bomber onto the plane through security, saying you have to let him on. He's from Sudan. You have someone videotaping reportedly the entire flight and aiming the camera at him. And I kept saying, why doesn't the FBI want to talk to Mr. Haskell, Kurt and Lori Haskell? And we appreciate him coming on right now. He had to come on in the last hour because the FBI was there just before he came on with us. So breaking news there. Kurt Haskell, again, who was on Flight 253 with the underwear bomber. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Hey, no problem. Glad to be here.
Well, tell us, again, a snapshot of any new developments or what the authorities just asked you about.
Okay. Yeah, I got a call early this morning that the FBI would be stopping in my office to talk to me sometime today, and they did. They left a little while ago. Our interview today was pretty similar to the interview they gave me while we were being detained in customs after we got off the plane, with one exception that I would say, and that was that they brought a stack of pictures they wanted me to look at and identify if I knew various people that they showed me, pictures of people.
Did you recognize the Indian man, the smart-dressed man?
No, he was not in any of the pictures.
Well, why wouldn't they have the airport footage? It's been 5 days. This is the biggest story ever. I mean, where is that surveillance footage from Amsterdam?
You know what I said to them? I said, did you guys bring the security video from Amsterdam? Wouldn't that be a more appropriate way to do this interview while we looked at security video? I don't think they liked that comment from me.
Well, it's common sense. I mean, you're a successful, smart lawyer. You're a sharp guy. But these FBI agents, they're sharp. They're accountants. They're lawyers. What's the deal?
That's what I said. Did you bring that video with you so we could go over it together? Wouldn't that be more appropriate? And I think that was an offensive comment to them.
Why would that be offensive? I mean, again, this is all part of the fake make work. We saw this with Oklahoma City and other suspicious events. They'll just bring a boatload of papers and stuff that doesn't matter, and then your information that is so vital will go into the deep six bin. And that's why I wanted to get you on, Mr. Haskell, but I think you're now experiencing what I wanted to warn you about vital witnesses just get ignored.
Well, I kind of want to keep this interview to me being an eyewitness and not me being expert testimony.
Are you talking about with the FBI or right now here on air?
No, what I'm saying is I want to keep, right here on air, I want to keep it to what I witnessed and not so much what my opinion is.
Absolutely, that makes sense to do that.
As possible, because I'm an I'm an eyewitness in this case, not an expert witness. And I don't want anyone accusing me of having any kind of an agenda to discredit the facts of this case and what I've witnessed.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, that makes sense because, if you start making your opinions made, then they can try to ignore the key info you brought forward.
And use that against me to discredit me. Exactly. I'm trying to not do anything to discredit myself.
But there are other witnesses. We're now seeing other witnesses saying they saw the guy with the camera and everything else.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about what you saw then, because we've got you to the bottom of the hour. Plenty of time to flesh this out. Instead of like 5 minutes on CNN or 10 minutes on Fox, plenty of time for you to be able to break down in fine detail what you saw, what you witnessed. And we're really excited to have Kurt Haskell on with us. His wife, Lori Haskell, was also on the aircraft, bombed by the underwear bomber. We're glad that he's certainly alive right now. Kurt and Lori Haskell had been on an African vacation. They were over there sightseeing, a sightseeing safari. Coming back through Amsterdam, things got a bit hairy. Coming into Detroit from Amsterdam. He runs the Haskell Law Firm, very busy person. We appreciate him joining us. He just had the FBI in his office, but he is aware of Infowars.com, and so we appreciate him coming on the show with all the hundreds of media requests he is no doubt getting. Okay, just telling the story, but finishing up what we talked about in the last segment, then telling the story, sir. Okay. The first thing you asked, you said, to the FBI was, why are you here interviewing me about this and showing me photos when you have the surveillance footage from Amsterdam? Finish up with what happened there.
Well, just to be straight, I don't assume anything. I said, wouldn't it be more appropriate that you brought the video from Amsterdam so that we could go over it together, and that would seems to me like that would be a good starting point. I didn't assume that they had it. I actually asked them. I asked them, you do have it, correct? And they gave me no response.
Oh boy!
Right. I asked them several questions related to things like that while they're here, and they refused to answer anything whatsoever. They said they're here to get information from me, not me get information from them.
Really? I thought in an investigation, witnesses are supposed to, bring up anything they think is important.
Right. Which I did, but you'd think there'd be some collaboration there. But
amazing. Did anything else in this interview not go well or seem strange?
Go well? Well, it was very similar to the one I did in customs. Basic questions, take me through everything. What did you see? Can you describe the people that you saw, et cetera, et cetera? With one exception is that they had a stack of pictures, and they went through them one by one with me and asked me to identify each person or not, to see if I saw them anywhere or not. That was the one difference.
Amazing.
It was about 10 pictures or so. Two of them. Two of the pictures were of the terrorist man, and they kind of tried to trick me. They acted like it was two different people to see if I would agree. But it was.
Oh, well, I was going to predict that, but I wanted you to say it yourself. If they are trying to cover up the investigation and screw it up, this is standard procedure. Now they're trying to impeach the witness. Because they really don't like what you saw, so we need to demand all of the airport video be released, not one video that was shooting a sidewall.
Here's how it went down. Just so you know, again, I'm not making any opinions. I'm just stating what I witnessed. He gave me a picture of the terrorist. I don't know what his name is exactly. It's a long Muslim name. I'm just going to call him the terrorist. And I said, okay, that's him. And then they said, can you identify this guy? And it looked to me like it was the terrorist again. And I said, is this some kind of trick where if I answer this wrong, you guys are going to try and use some kind of smear tactic against me to discredit me? And they kind of laughed, and I said, it looks like the terrorist again, but why don't you give me a full body shot? Because, part of myself identifying this man had to do with his entire body because he looks a little different.
His skeletal form.
Yeah, he's a short, skinny guy, and they were giving me headshots only. And I said, well, why don't you give me a full body picture, and then maybe I can tell you if this is the terrorist also, or some man that I didn't see.
Wow.
But they didn't have any of those. One other picture, it was kind of funny to me. And they showed me a picture of a man, and they said, do you know this man? And I looked at them, and I kind of laughed, and I said, isn't this the man that had the bomb in his carry-on bag that you arrested in customs that you refused to admit exists? They didn't really like that comment from me and had no comment back to me. But I said, it sure looks like it's the man you refused to admit exists.
Really?
I don't know if you read that part of my story anywhere either. But.
Yes, but flesh that out for folks that aren't aware of it.
Okay, I'm sorry. When we got off the plane, we were being held in customs for a 6-hour time period, and they brought in some bomb-sniffing dogs after about an hour. One of the dogs found something in one of the carry-on bags of an Indian man. Now, this is a different Indian man than the one I saw pre-boarding. He was a younger man, about age 30. And he was immediately taken into an interrogation room, held there for about an hour, and he came out and was handcuffed and taken away. Immediately after he was taken away, we were moved to another location, and one of the FBI agents said the following: "You're being moved. It's not safe here. I'm sure you all saw what happened and can read between the lines on why you're being moved." Read into that what you will.
Wow.
But nobody will mention it. this part of my story anywhere. And, you know, everyone in the plane, or a majority of them, saw this. We were all in the same room. And I'm sure other
Again, we're talking to eyewitness Kurt-Haskell. His wife saw much of the similar information. Other witnesses are corroborating a lot of what they're talking about. Take your time, because we have the time. Then I want to get into what you saw getting on the plane, once you were on the plane, the time we have. I'm skipping the next break coming up. We have it to the bottom of the hour. We got 16 minutes. Any detail, anything specific, I mean, start over, slowly retell what you just told us.